I didn't want to go too far into the abusive thing, but how did you finally decide to get yourself out? Because so many times people don't get out and they just stay there forever.
I saw a recent funny video of people. Somebody said like, me when I'm 25 and my cerebral frontal cortex suddenly develops.
Oh, that's...
So a lot of people were describing and saying like, oh, I got into a relationship when I was 19, and then one day when I was 25, I was like, what the fuck? And then, so I'm very lucky that I actually got out when I was 23, before my frontal cortex.
Before you get that 25.
But so how I decided to come out was
because when you're 23, you're still, you know, not really that knowledgeable or mature. But yeah, the fact that you did come out.
Yeah. So what happened at the time? He moved us further and further away from civilization. So we were living in the mountains in Chiayi, and I just felt so lethargic every day. And I was just on my phone every day. I didn't want to, I tried to minimize contact with him, I think like subconsciously. And so I would just watch a lot of YouTube videos every day. And I came across this spiritual teacher called Teal Swan. And she was talking a lot about relationships and about like self-love and things. And I decided to take the jump and buy her self-love course. And the first lesson where it taught was because she says like people have this very like wishy-washy idea of what self-love is like a bubble bath or whatever, but it's not. Sometimes self-love is making a really hard decision for yourself.
Yeah.
And in the first lesson she talked about like looking at the most self-hating part of ourselves, and sort of understanding, because that is like the biggest obstacle to our own self-love, is the part of us that hates ourselves. And through that whole process I learned a lot about my emotions and about validating my own emotions as a way of like self-soothing. So it's like, if I'm feeling really sad or something, I would tell myself, okay, it's okay. It's understandable that I feel sad. Like this and this happened. Of course I feel sad. So it's like sort of releasing the resistance to my own emotions. And there was one specific video she made about the throat chakra, and she gave these journal prompts. And I still have the journals from that time. But one of the questions was like, I tell everyone da-da-da, but actually da-da-da.
Yeah.
And so I wrote, I tell everybody that I'm happy in my relationship, but actually I feel really lonely. I was like, wow, actually I feel really lonely. I'd never thought about that. And sort of at this point, things started to unravel a little bit. Like, how can I feel so lonely in this relationship? And one day, so like, per usual, he was picking on me about something around the house and yelling at me from across the room. And I felt myself like freezing up, because this is also like a big problem we had. If like he was yelling, I was freezing up. He would get upset that I'm freezing up, and I don't know what he would
escalate.
do.
Yeah.
At that point. So I was like, okay, I'm freezing up. I'm really scared. And so I said, like, hey, I'm feeling really scared right now. Can you just tell me that you can see that I'm feeling scared? Just say, okay, I see that you're feeling scared. And he said, like, I don't know why we're talking about your emotions right now. This is not about your like this is not about your feelings. Like, you didn't clean this thing, whatever. And I was like, wow, like what Teal taught me about like that my feelings are like important. So it's I've never brought it up like this, but now that I've brought it up, it made me realize for the past 4 years, my feelings were never important in this relationship. I just never saw it that way. So I was like, I'm gonna back away slowly from this, because it's like I realized I'm talking to someone I couldn't get through to.
Yeah.
So there's no point in trying to get through. And
so getting out. So yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, because I was thinking about how I actually got out, and it was like, the relationship sexually was also very pushy, and I sort of if I said no, it was always like, well, why not? Well, if not now, then when? Well, if you don't want it, what would make you want it? I was like,
Right.
this
Oh.
is just too many. This
Yeah.
is too many questions. I don't know. Okay, who the hell's gonna know? So basically, the idea was, I'm gonna turn your no into a yes, and
Right.
there would become a big fight about it, until like I felt so horrible, and then the final relief of things feeling okay again, and then I would give myself to him because finally things are okay again.
Yeah.
And this happened so many times where like, and so I had started learning from the self-love course how to talk to certain parts of myself, and so one day the same dynamic was happening, and then I said like, I don't know why I don't want to have sex with you, okay? Why don't you talk to the part of me that doesn't want to have sex with me?
Oh no, don't tell me what he said.
So I did this kind of like channeling of my own part, and in my own self, like this is not about him anymore. I realized like, oh, I have like maybe have some like deeper trauma around this that I didn't know about, that I was starting to uncover at that time. And then I kind of had this like click and realization that we're incompatible. And if I remove the blame from it, it's that we're incompatible because I need somebody who's always okay when I say no. Just
Yeah.
instantly, that's fine.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, he needs somebody who will always say yes.
Yeah.
That's his insecurity, that's his whatever, like not going to put a value judgment on that. That's what he needs. We're incompatible in that way. And if I stay with him, this will never be resolved, and I will never sort of uncover the sort of deeper pain that I have around this. And he was saying stuff like, oh, blah, 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 what about how I feel, blah, blah, blah. I was like already tuning out. And then so I just like, okay, I'm going to stop. And I came out of this part because like so many times we have had like horrible fights. And in my gut, I always still felt like I wanted to be with this person. And that day, in my gut, I felt like, I need to go.
Yeah.
And so I said, I think I need a break. And surprisingly, he took it surprisingly well. I don't know if it was like a strategy that like if he lets me go, then maybe I'll come back, or I don't really know.
Yeah, maybe feel guilty or
I was
whatever.
just grateful that he was not like putting up a big fight about it.
Yeah.
And we were way out in the mountains somewhere, so I mailed my stuff back to my mom's place and took a 1 hour bus to a 2 hour bus to a 4 hour bus.
You were that far?
I was that far.
Was it in Taichung or a different?
It was in Jiayi Dabu.
Oh yeah, Jiayi.
Yeah,
Jiayi
next to the water reserve.
Oh,
It
okay.
was pretty crazy.
So what did it feel like then when you got on that bus and you were just? What was the
I
feeling?
feel like there was still so much lack of clarity, and I didn't know if this relationship might be able to continue or not. I think I was still trying to figure out what the problem was, and it's actually like sort of his later behavior and what I read about like narcissistic personalities and stuff that really sort of opened my eyes. A lot of like when I sort of stopped engaging with the way that he tries to instigate conflict, I don't engage with it. He flares up on his own and then dies back down on his own. And I was like, wow, I never like I could see like the pattern that I had been engaging in for years and years, but then I was stepping away from it. But I think what also really opened my eyes was we had a video call like a week or two after I went back to my mom's, and he was still living at that place, and he was, I think, putting up a front about like being like very cheerful and happy to talk to me, and saying like, oh look, I did this and this, I've been improving in such and such a way, I've done this and this, and I was like, okay, great. And I was like, wonder if he'll ask about me. And we had the whole video call, and he never asked about me.
Oh.
And that was like a quiet realization.
Yeah.
Like this relationship to him is not about me.
Right.
It's about him.
Yeah, because I was remembering when you said you had an argument and stuff, and he was telling you, you know, why are you talking about your feelings or your emotions? But then just now you were telling me that he's like, what about what I feel, or what about what? It's like a total, you know, double standard sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. So, you've do you feel that you've through this new life and new community that you've found that you're good with it, or that's in the past and it's something that you learned from, and or is it still have, you know, certain effects on you every once in a while?
I think I'm in a lot better of a place about it. It's not something that I ruminate so much about anymore. Barely. Once in a while, I'm like, a little bit. Or sometimes things can happen in the relationships that I have now. That actually happened. Like, it took like quite a few. It's like I don't know, like a ripple, and like and the ripple continued even after I left him, and I had to take a few ripples before it rippled out and like calmed down.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I say I would forgive him. I feel like it's
a process.
I heard somebody once say that like you forgive somebody when it feels like there's really nothing to forgive anymore. Where like it doesn't really affect you anymore.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm still not quite there yet. And I'm sort of, one of the first things I learned is also it's okay. Like, forgiveness is not.
It's not like what somebody tells us we should do. Oh, you know, it's best to forgive this and that. And, you know, sometimes in our mind, we're saying, because of what everybody else says, okay, you know, I forgive you because it's going to be better for me. But that's not always, you know, the situation.
I think it's something that, like, it's like when a wound heals. Yeah. It's a natural process. Yeah. And if it's healed, it's healed. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah, so you do it whenever it's your time, and if it isn't ever your time, then that's okay too. Yeah. Right.
So.
Yeah.
I think I need him to know that how much he has hurt me, and that what he did was really not okay. And so yeah. But I think for my own life, I have grown a lot from it, from the bad example of it, and sort of also it has helped me sort of recognize the good in people too, when people do treat me in a fair, warm, loving way. It helps me recognize that and appreciate that more.